Hello everybody, welcome along to our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. Half an hour jam-packed with all the key incidents from the latest round of fixtures in English football's fifth tier. This weekend we've been breaking uncharted territory. We're at Nethermore Park, the home of New Boys Guiseley, who are entertaining Lincoln City. Much more of that game coming up and plenty more besides. Cheltenham hit 7 to embarrass Halifax's new boss. Dover denied Gateshead the chance to go top. And Bromley's winning streak comes to an end at Tranmere. We start at Halifax, where new boss Darren Kelly had no time to settle in after his appointment on Thursday. He was thrust into action against promotion charges Cheltenham, opponents they last faced in the old Football League Division 3 back in 2002. On that day, Halifax were 4-1 victors. Could Kelly's arrival inspire a similar result? The answer came within 12 minutes, and it was Cheltenham who took the lead. Danny Wright played in Jack Munns, who finished with aplomb. But Halifax rallied and found an equaliser just before the half-hour mark. Josh McDonald did well on the right wing before supplying Kingsley James, who scored his first for the club. Despite the fight back, the form book didn't favour Kelly's side. They'd only won 2 of their previous 28 league matches and were behind again before half-time. Amari Morgan-Smith firing the visitors back into the lead. But much worse was to come for the home side. Cheltenham extended their advantage 2 minutes after the restart. Munns this time turned provider for Wright, who directed the ball past Matt Glennon. Wright was again involved as Cheltenham made it 4, threading the ball through for Harry Pell to score his 3rd of the season. The goals just kept on coming, and after a poor clearance, Billy Waters pounced to smash his side out of sight. So it was 5-1 going into added time, but there was no sign of the visitors easing up. Munns inflicted more pain, curling in his 2nd of the match. Cheltenham hadn't scored 7 goals away from home in a league game since 1982, but they had the chance to match that total when Matt Brown fouled Munns in the box. Munns himself took the penalty and duly completed his first hat-trick for the club. Delight then for Gary Johnson's men. But Kelly clearly has his work cut out. Halifax have already conceded 32 goals, the most in the division, and the new boss gave an honest assessment.
To be honest, embarrassing scoreline, to be honest. I thought Cheltenham came here, they dominated from start to finish, struggling to find any positives from that, but I think from my side it was good in the fact that, you know what, you learned a lot about the team today. I can see now why we are where we are in the league, but at the end of the day we want to come here and we want to make this place a fortress, and we want to show, you know, that opposition, when they come, they're in for a game.
Once we got the second one and the third one just after half-time, then unfortunately for them, we got our game going. We was picking out all the runs, picking out all the passes, and we had several players on the top of their game all at once. And when that happens, we're a decent team. You know, you got to say when a new management team comes in, it's not down to them. You know, it was a watching brief, and I'm sure Darren and Jim will sort it out as soon as they can when they get the opportunity to bring the players that they know can compete at this level. But you know, I'm really pleased for our club, of course I am, because that was one hell of a performance.
Dover Athletic had a nightmare journey north to Gateshead as their charter flight was delayed by fog, and then their coach was held up in Tyneside traffic. They only reached the ground 40 minutes before kick-off, but referee Simon Bennett insisted that the game should start on time. None of that seemed to faze the visitors, though, and they stormed into an early lead. Stefan Payne curling this free kick round the Gateshead wall for his 6th goal of the season. Malcolm Crosby's side have shown great resilience this campaign, and they battled back through Simon Ramsden. This was the former Motherwell and Grimsby Town defender's first goal in English football for exactly 6 years, his last coming for Bradford at Northampton back in 2009. And Gateshead, who were second in the table going into this game, were in front before half-time. Patrick McLaughlin's corner saw goalkeeper Mitch Walker caught in no man's land, and Nathan Buddle headed into the back of the net. Dover dominated in the second half, and a scramble in the box provided a chance for former Gateshead target Aswan Thomas, who lashed home to level the scores. There was no sign of tiredness after their long journey, and Dover were pushing for a winner. Gateshead-born and former player Nicky Devedix provided the cross for Jack Parkinson to make it 3-2. That was Dover's third win in a row, and they move into the playoff spots. Gateshead have lost their last 2 home matches and face a tough trip to Grimsby on Tuesday.
We went in leading and we were pretty confident that we could go on and win the game. But I can't put my finger on how we played so badly second half. The players can't. It was just a poor performance from them. But the one thing they've done for me all season, you know, they've always given their best, and they've got us into a good position in the league, so I haven't got to be too critical of them.
Bromley's outstanding 6-match winning streak earned Mark Goldberg and top scorer Moses Emmanuel the National League Manager and Player of the Month awards for September. But to extend that sequence, they needed to overcome a Tranmere side who themselves were unbeaten in 7. After an evenly matched opening, the deadlock was broken in the 29th minute when Andy Mangan got in behind the Bromley defence, playing in red, and fired the home side in front. That's his 4th goal in his last 3 games. Tranmere doubled their advantage 7 minutes into the second half. Johnny Margette's bagging his first goal of the season after a cross from Louis Maynard. Bromley were harshly penalised with 10 minutes to go. Referee Adam Dawson pointing to the spot when Margette seemed to be tripped inside the box, but on closer inspection, it looked like there was no contact from Rob Swain. Up stepped Mangan to make it 3-0 for the hosts. It went from bad to worse for Bromley as substitute Lee Minshall was given his marching orders for raising an elbow to Adam Meckie. After consulting his assistant, the referee produced a straight red card. And just before the final whistle, Margette's popped up again to bring a miserable end to an impressive run from Bromley. Tranmere move up to 3rd, only 3 points off the top. Bromley left to pick themselves up again on Tuesday when they face Welling United.
League leaders Forest Green came to Blundell Park looking to recapture their early season form, having dropped 11 points in their last 4 games. Paul Hurst's Grimsby were unbeaten in their last 6, but hadn't been able to keep a clean sheet at home all season. The hosts made the early running and went close with this chance from Barnet loanee Ben Tomlinson. And it was Grimsby who went ahead after 31 minutes. A header from club captain Craig Disley set up John Paul Pittman for a cracking volley into the back of the net. The celebrations didn't last long though. 3 minutes later, Forest Green hit back when this long ball found the chest of John Parkin, who converted this absolute scorcher. In the second half, a cross from Grimsby's Jack McReth saw Tomlinson waste an opportunity to take the lead. But it was Forest Green who looked stronger going forward. A well-placed pass from Darren Carter found Darren Jones, who was denied by Grimsby keeper James McEwen. Jones came close to giving his side their first win in 6, but the shot rebounded off Danny East's stomach and was cleared out of play by Disley. Grimsby extended their unbeaten run to 7, but Forest Green are now without a win in 5, clinging on to the top spot by just 1 point.
10 miles and 7 points separated the two teams as Wrexham travelled to the Anglo-Welsh border to take on fierce rivals Chester at the Diva Stadium. It was their 81st league meeting, both games having been won by the home team last season. It was Chester who struck first when an audacious free kick from 25 yards gave John Rooney his 3rd goal of the season. 5 minutes later, referee Ian Hussin controversially awarded Wrexham a penalty after Blaine Hudson was brought down by Chester's Ben Hennigan. Dominic Vose calmly converted the spot kick to bring the scores level. That was his 5th goal of the season, but first in 8 matches. But in the second half, some poor defending allowed Chester's Tom Shaw to sneak through and slide the ball past the Wrexham keeper Cameron Belford, his first goal since this summer's move from Alfreton. Chester increased their lead after 69 minutes when Ross Hannah floated in a fantastic cross and Kane Richards headed home to make it 3-1. John Rooney had a chance to make it 4 when this free kick rattled the post. He still had a better weekend than his brother, mind. Wrexham didn't give up hope, and in the 3rd minute of added time, Connor Jennings reduced the arrears after this scramble. Chester goalkeeper John Worsnop did his best to delay the restart and picked up a yellow for his efforts. It was a welcome result for Chester, who'd only won 1 of their previous 7, while Wrexham dropped down to 7th, having lost consecutive matches for the first time this season.
Eastleigh's caretaker manager Chris Todd wants the job on a permanent basis, and for his first home game in charge, he was up against a Braintree side who have the best defensive record in the division. The visitors, a surprise package this season, were awarded a penalty after 32 minutes when Dan Harding clumsily fouled Kenny David in the box. David dusted himself off to fire Braintree into the lead from the spot. Simeon Akinola should have doubled Braintree's lead early in the second half, but Eastleigh keeper Lewis Noyce was in the right place at the right time. Braintree eventually wrapped up the 3 points with a second goal after some slack defending from Eastleigh. Dan Sparks doing well to cross for striker Michael Cheek, who had the simplest of tap-ins. With more than 80 applicants for the Eastleigh job, Todd's chances won't have been helped by this result. Braintree, however, march on with 4 consecutive clean sheets away from home, a run they hope will continue as they travel to Cheltenham on Tuesday.
You're watching our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. Plenty more still to come in a few minutes' time. You're watching our latest roundup from the Vanarama National League. All the key incidents from the latest round of fixtures. Let's get straight back to the action. National League newcomers Guiseley were unbeaten in 7 as they took on Lincoln City, who've been out of the Football League for the last 4 years. Commentary from Adam Virgo and Steve Bauer.
There's the touch from Dickinson. Well, he was allowed the header.
And there's Matt Reid up against him. All you've got to do with the quality of delivery, you've just got to try and help it on. It's a good attempt there from Liam Dickinson.
Farman's kick for Lincoln. Power. Oh, lovely skill. Denied the finish, then in came Reid. And Lincoln are in front.
You need a cool head in the area, and at the moment they've got that with Matt Reid. You do get that little bit of luck, but the build-up play was brilliant. Aldridge's ball was perfect for Power to run onto.
Tidy again from Guiseley. Hatfield, Maris. Oh, that could have easily come out to Dickinson. Farman down quickly in the Lincoln goal. And then he opted to punch that one. There's a late challenge on him. That's why the referee's blown his whistle. Hawkridge. Good cross. What a save to deny Reid by Drench.
What makes it a great save? Keeper's going one way, the header goes back across goal. It's a good strong arm to keep it out.
Swung in by Brooksby. Well, there's all kind of appeals there as Jake Lawler jumped. Both teams were appealing.
There's more the foul on Liam Dickinson. Feeling had his shirt pulled. It's Matt Reid, the man there. You can't be doing that. You see he's got his shirt there, he's holding him.
Boschel. Maris goes for the curler. And he's desperately unlucky.
Opens his body out brilliantly. It's a wonderful attempt. So unlucky not to go in.
He's up against Atkinson. It's an early delivery towards Reid. Won't count. Flag was up. Matt Reid denied his second. He didn't realise straight away, and he doesn't think he was off. Let's have a look.
Well, if that would have counted, you would not have seen a better team goal this weekend. It's a poor run from Matt Reed. Playing on Adam Lockwood's shoulder.
Nice ball from Power. Hearns onto it. Drench did enough.
And again, it's that right hand. Steve Drench that keeps Guiseley in the game. It's a wonderful ball through to Hearn. That's a great shot across the keeper as well.
Great bunch of lads who dug in tonight. Professional performance, got the win.
Where has your own form come from? Your goals tally this season is notably up.
Yeah, I think it's because playing every week. The lads are giving me chances, working hard, and getting chances, and luckily I'm taking them. So long may it continue.
I mean, I think you've seen tonight, you know, we've more than matched Lincoln. You know, I think we've probably had more possession of the football and created as many chances as them. It's just, you know, the one that's fallen to them, they've managed to take one, and we've not managed to take any of ours. So the lads are a confident bunch that, you know, we know we can get results at this level. We've proved that so far. We've just got to pick ourselves up and go again now.
Southport came into this showdown in Surrey with just one victory to their name all season, but hosts Woking were in their worst run of form of the campaign after 3 defeats in a row. That vulnerability showed after just 8 minutes. Southport striker Cole Stockton failed to get on the end of the original cross, but when the ball was worked back to Stockton on the edge of the area, the man on loan from Tranmere saw his shot deflected into the corner. And just 9 minutes later, Woking were really wobbling. Andre Jones's effort turned in by Stockton for his second and his third in 4 games at the club. 2-0 Southport at half-time. Finally, the home fans saw signs of life from Woking. Joey Jones blasting inches wide of Andy Coughlin's goal. And hopes of a comeback were alive when Antigua and Barbuda international Kieran Murtagh powered home John Goddard's corner. Southport had a golden chance to re-establish their 2-goal lead. Paul Rutherford played through, but it was keeper Jake Cole to the rescue. And there were scenes of delight at the Kingfield Stadium, but that soon turned to despair. Substitute Ben Patty's equaliser was ruled out for offside. No goal and no points for Woking for the 4th game in a row. It's Southport's first away win of the season.
Torquay attempted to ease their turmoil with the appointment of Kevin Nicholson as player-manager on Monday. Nicholson had made over 300 appearances for a club very much in his heart. Louis Briscoe's free kick almost gave the host the perfect start. Aldershot keeper Phil Smith's blushes spared by the post. And when he looks out, it's out. Not much Nicholson or his goalkeeper could do about this sensational set-piece from the visitors' skipper Sam Hatton after 21 minutes. Torquay came into the fixture winless in their last 10 matches and totally lacking in confidence. But confidence isn't a problem for Charlie Walker, who doubled Aldershot's lead before half-time. Their top scorer has 7 goals this season, all of them scored in the last 9 games. The away side's advantage could have been increased in the second half. Substitute Dan Walker on the end of this move. 2-0 it finished. Torquay take on Dover on Tuesday, and Nicholson knows what he wants to see from his side.
Just a bit more freedom, just a bit more to take the shackles off, relax on the ball, make sure that you're organised and you'll do anything you can to stop a goal, and just that the lads do their jobs, which we've been working on. A lot of it I thought they took on board well, so it's up to me to make sure I get them right and ready to go again on Tuesday.
It never rains, it pours if you're a Kidderminster Harriers fan this season. No wins in 13 National League games, and they're still without a permanent manager. Former Coventry coach Neil McFarlane took caretaker charge as Welling United visited Agborough. And Harriers were certainly hungry. Kevin Toner and Aman Verma surviving a couple of aggressive Welling challenges. Jordan Jones's cross evading everyone. But it was Welling who broke the deadlock just after half-time. George Porter's free kick going through the wall and through Alex Palmer. Porter's first goal for Welling and his first for over a year. And an uphill task became an impossible one for Kidderminster after just 52 minutes. Porter racing through before being brought down by defender Jordan Tunnicliffe. Red card for Tunnicliffe and another defeat for the hosts. Kidderminster have won just one of their last 29 matches. Questions to answer for the Harriers hierarchy.
I think the bigger issue on the horizon now is to try and get the head coach that we're after, and I think then and get him into the frame and working with the players.
Will that be in place for Tuesday or maybe a Saturday game?
No, I'd like to think it would be the Saturday game, but I'm not going to predict anything because the conversations are quite protracted, and we've got to be. I think we've really got to make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's, really. So well, let's see what happens. And as I say, I think we can't go on forever, but it's got to be the right decision for the club.
Altrincham have found goals hard to come by this season, while the visitors to Moss Lane have been on something of a scoring streak, registering in their last 10 matches. And Barrow almost drew first blood in the early stages. Centre-half Danny Livesey brilliantly kept out by Altrincham's Tim Deasy. It was a game of goalkeeping one-upmanship in Greater Manchester, Damien Reeves with the volley for the hosts, and visiting keeper Joel Dixon proving anything Deasy can do, he can do better. There was a barrage of Barrow pressure. Andy Cook on the front foot for the away side, but he was denied by DC and the upright. Altrincham manager Lee Sinnott was unhappy with sections of the home support for criticism aimed at the players, but the crowd couldn't have wished to see a better goal than the one that settled this match on 61 minutes. A patient passing move from back to front, with James Lorry playing the killer pass, and Reeves, who scored 18 goals last season, slotting home his first of this campaign. Perseverance paying off for Reeves and for Altrincham, who've won back-to-back games in the National League for the first time this campaign.
Saturday saw the first ever meeting between Macclesfield and Boreham Wood, two sides hovering dangerously above the National League drop zone. It was a cagey affair at Moss Rose, a game that only came to life after half-time. Macclesfield midfielder Danny Whitehead thought he'd broken the deadlock, but his strike was tipped onto the post by keeper James Russell. When the home side found a way past Russell, they were denied by the Boreham Wood back line. Chris Holroyd's effort blocked by Scott Doe, and the Woods scrambled clear from underneath their own crossbar. Ian Allison's side take a point back to Hertfordshire, but it's a draw that does little to ease either side's relegation fears.
So, Forest Green is still top of the table, but their lead is now down to a single point after their 5th game without a win. Cheltenham have regained second spot after that 7-1 trouncing of Halifax, and Tranmere's 8-match unbeaten run has lifted them up to 3rd. Dover go from strength to strength. Their 3-2 success at Gateshead was their 3rd win in a row. Southport's first away triumph of the season wasn't enough to lift them out of the bottom 4, but Boreham Wood will be looking anxiously over their shoulders. New managers at Torquay and Halifax couldn't stop the rot, and Kidderminster's wait for their first 3 points shows no sign of ending. That's just about it for this week's National League Highlight Show, but don't forget we have 2 live games coming up this week. Join us on Wednesday for Aldershot against Forest Green Rovers, exclusively live on BT Sport 1 at 7:15, and then on Saturday it's non-league day and we're at the Moss Rose as Macclesfield host Kidderminster, also on BT Sport 1 from midday. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next week.